I am not sitting next to a dirty man. Vivienne Cross jerks her silk sleeve away from Elijah Reed as if his armrest burns her. The packed first-class cabin falls silent at 10:42 a.m., halfway over the clouds, with champagne glasses still shaking on silver trays. Elijah, a black man in a plain jacket and worn work boots, keeps his hands folded over a sealed black folder. Vivienne points at him and snaps, "Move him! I pay too much to be insulted." Maya, the young flight attendant, stops in the aisle with her tablet frozen against her chest. The rich woman smiles when no passenger speaks. Elijah lifts his boarding pass without raising his voice. "Ma'am, I have the same seat rights you do. You might want to be careful with your words." Before this goes further, subscribe for more stories where dignity stands tall when power goes too far. And tell us where you're watching from in the comments. The comment hangs in the cabin, like a warning no one wants to touch. Vivienne leans closer to Maya and lowers her voice only enough to sound cruel. "Either he leaves this seat or I call your supervisor before we land." Maya looks at Elijah, then at the seat number glowing above him, 3 billions. His name sits on her tablet beside a red privacy mark she has never seen before. Elijah notices her eyes flick to it, but he says nothing. A businessman across the aisle lifts his phone an inch, then pretends to check messages. Vivienne sees the silence and mistakes it for support. "Look at him," she says, louder now. "He does not belong here." A child in row 4 stops playing with her headphones. Elijah's thumb rests on the sealed folder, covering a gold airline emblem. When Maya opens her mouth to answer, the captain's voice cuts through the cabin speakers. Every face turns toward the front. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a minor seating concern in first class," the captain says. "Please remain seated while the crew handles it." Vivienne smiles like the announcement belongs to her. "Good," she says. "Now, remove him." Maya's fingers tighten around the tablet. Elijah does not move. He looks toward the window, calm enough to make the insult feel smaller than him. 2 passengers whisper. One woman shakes her head, but keeps her eyes down. The businessman across the aisle starts recording again, this time with the camera aimed straight at Vivienne's face. She notices and lifts her chin. "Record me," she says. "I want people to see what first class has become." A soft gasp moves through the cabin. Elijah finally turns to her. "You are making a public record," he says. Vivienne laughs. "Good, then everyone will know." Under Elijah's hand, the black folder shifts open just enough to show one name. Maya sees it and freezes hard. Maya's eyes lock on the name printed inside the folder. Reed Meridian. Her breath catches, but Vivienne snaps her fingers before Maya can speak. "Do your job," Vivienne says, "or I will make sure this airline hears about you too." The threat lands harder than the insult. Maya's face tightens. Elijah closes the folder with one calm hand and slides his boarding pass toward the aisle. "Check it again," he says. "No rush." Vivienne scoffs. "You think a paper saves you?" A man in row 2 mutters, "This is wrong," but his wife pulls his sleeve. The cabin watches its own fear. Maya taps the screen. The red privacy mark flashes, then asks for senior clearance. Her thumb stops above the tablet. Vivienne sees the pause and grows louder. "Why are you protecting him?" Elijah turns his head slightly. "She is protecting the truth." At that moment, the businessman stands up with his phone still recording in his right hand. The businessman steps into the aisle, and Vivienne's smile slips for the first time. "Sit down," she orders. "This does not concern you." He keeps the phone raised. "It concerns everyone who heard you lie," he says. A murmur breaks through first class. Maya looks from the phone to Elijah's folder, then back to the locked tablet screen. Elijah remains seated, his voice quiet. No one needs to raise their voice. That calmness makes Vivienne angrier. She points at his boots. "He came dressed like baggage staff, and you people are treating him like royalty." The businessman's jaw tightens. "Say that again for the camera." Vivienne turns red, but pride pushes her forward. "Gladly." Before she can repeat it, the cabin phone rings beside Maya's shoulder. The lead attendant answers, listens, then goes pale. Her eyes move to Elijah, then to Vivienne. "Ma'am," she whispers, "you need to stop talking right now. because someone important is already watching this flight. 6 hours before that cabin phone rings, Elijah Reed locks the door of the East Oakland Community Medical Center and stands under the morning light with a cup of coffee in one hand. A nurse named Lena pushes a cart of supplies toward the side entrance. "You are still taking the New York flight?" she asks. Elijah nods and checks the time on his watch. 10:42. I should land before the meeting. Lena studies his plain jacket, dusty boots, and worn leather bag. "You know those people judge fast." "They always do," Elijah says. "That does not make them right." A white van pulls up near the curb. Its side reads, "Mobile Care Route 3, in fading blue letters. 2 volunteers load boxes of blood pressure cuffs, children's inhalers, and cold medicine." Elijah signs the delivery sheet without making a speech. The clinic needs every dollar, every doctor, every mile. A young mother steps outside, holding a sleeping boy against her shoulder. "Mr. Reed," she says, "the medicine worked. He ate this morning." Elijah's face softens. "Good. Keep the follow-up appointment." She nods, then looks at the black folder under his arm. "Another donor meeting?" Elijah pauses. "Something close to that." The folder carries a gold Skyward Atlantic emblem and a sealed review tab. He slides it deeper into his bag before anyone else can see. Only 2 names appear on the inner page: Skyward Atlantic and Crosswell Lux. Across the bay, Vivienne Cross steps out of a black town car in front of the private departures entrance at San Francisco International Airport. Her cream suit is pressed sharp. Her diamond bracelet flashes as she hands one assistant a coffee cup and another assistant her phone. "Where is the board packet?" she asks. Her senior aide, Claire, lifts a tablet. "The emergency call is moved to tonight, after you land." Vivienne stops walking. "Emergency is their word, not mine." Claire lowers her voice. "They want answers on staff complaints, vendor payments, and the airline partnership." Vivienne smiles at the glass doors, like cameras wait inside. "They want confidence. I will give them confidence." A porter reaches for her luggage. Vivienne pulls it back. "Careful, that bag costs more than your month." The porter's face tightens, but he says nothing. Claire sees it. So does a young gate services agent standing near the desk. Vivienne does not care. She moves like the building belongs to her. Inside the terminal, Elijah enters through the regular security line. No assistant follows him. No driver waits behind him. He places his worn bag in a bin and removes the black folder with care. A security officer notices the seal. "Business trip?" the officer asks. Elijah gives a small nod. "Important one." Behind the private glass, Vivienne argues with Claire again. Without Skyward Atlantic, Crosswell Lux loses the airport expansion, the resort contract, and half the investors who still believe in my name. Claire taps the tablet. "The board says the partnership review includes conduct risk now." Vivienne turns cold. Conduct risk is a phrase weak people use when they want control. Her phone buzzes. A message appears from board office. "Final review requires outside sign-off. No exceptions." Vivienne's jaw tightens. "Who is the outside reviewer?" Claire scrolls fast. "The name is locked." Vivienne laughs once. Then the reviewer is nobody important. At the main concourse, Elijah buys a bottle of water and gives his extra breakfast sandwich to an older janitor wiping tables near the coffee stand. The man thanks him. Elijah asks his name, remembers it, and keeps moving. A child drops a stuffed bear near the boarding screens. Elijah picks it up before anyone steps on it. The child's father smiles with relief. "Thank you, sir." Vivienne passes that same area 5 minutes later with 2 assistants behind her. The child blocks her path for 1 second. Vivienne clicks her tongue. People need to control their children in airports. The father pulls the child close. Elijah hears it from several feet away, but does not turn. He watches Vivienne's reflection in the window instead. Her face looks familiar from the file, but he leaves the thought alone. At gate A12, Skyward Atlantic announces early boarding for first class. Maya stands by the counter, checking names. When Elijah scans his pass, her tablet flashes red for 1 second, then hides the details. Maya frowns. "Mr. Reed, 1 moment." Elijah waits. Vivienne arrives behind him and sighs loudly. Why is this line stopped? Maya clears the screen. All set, Mr. Reed. Seat 3 billions. Vivienne looks at Elijah's boots, then at the first-class sign. Her smile fades into something sharper. What a morning, she says. Elijah steps onto the jet bridge without answering, and Vivienne watches him like a mistake she plans to correct. Before Vivienne watches Elijah step onto the jet bridge, she sees him inside the Skyward First Lounge. He stands near the window, holding a paper cup of tea and the same black folder tucked against his side. His jacket still carries a faint trace of clinic dust from the morning. His boots look clean, but worn. He does not look like the man Vivienne expects inside this quiet room of leather chairs, glass walls, and polished silver trays. Vivienne enters with Claire behind her and stops near the welcome desk. Why is he in here? She asks. The lounge attendant, a young man named Adrian, looks up from the check-in screen. Ma'am? Vivienne nods toward Elijah without lowering her voice. That man, is he with catering? A few guests look over. Elijah hears her, but his face does not change. He sets his tea on the small table and checks the departure board. Claire whispers, Vivienne. Vivienne ignores her. She removes her cream coat and walks straight toward Elijah. Here, she says, holding it out. Hang this somewhere safe. Elijah looks at the coat, then at her face. I do not work here. Vivienne blinks once, then gives a short laugh. Then why are you standing around like staff? The question cuts through the lounge. Adrian steps from behind the desk. Ms. Cross, I am sorry. Mr. Reed is a first-class passenger. Vivienne turns slowly. Mr. Reed? Elijah lifts his boarding pass with 2 fingers. Seat 3 billions shows clearly on the corner. Adrian's face tightens with embarrassment. I apologize, sir. Elijah nods once. No harm from you. Vivienne smiles like the apology belongs to her. People should dress for the rooms they enter. No one answers. That silence gives her permission. She drapes the coat over the back of a chair instead of taking it back. Fine. Since everyone is so sensitive today, I will do it myself. Elijah picks up his tea again. His calm bothers her more than anger would. She wants him to explain himself. She wants him to look ashamed. He gives her neither. Across the lounge, Maya stands near a side counter with 2 other crew members. She checks the passenger notes for Flight 218 to New York. Her tablet shows the first-class cabin, meal choices, mobility needs, and private service alerts. When she reaches seat 3 billions, the screen flashes red. VIP private hold. The name below it reads Elijah Reed, but every profile detail is hidden behind a locked icon. Maya taps once. A message appears. Senior clearance required. She looks toward Elijah. He is standing alone near the window, still holding the black folder. Vivienne is now across the room, speaking loudly into her phone. No, Claire, I do not care what the board thinks, Vivienne says. If Skyward wants Crosswell Lux, they will learn to treat me like the asset I am. Maya hears the name Crosswell Lux and glances down at her tablet. A separate note sits under the flight manifest. Corporate guests aboard. Handle privacy with care. She scrolls, but the note closes itself. Adrian steps beside her. You saw what happened? Maya lowers her voice. With Mr. Reed? He nods. She thought he worked here. Maya looks back at Vivienne. Did he complain? No, Adrian says. That is the strange part. Elijah turns slightly, as if he knows they are speaking about him. He does not look annoyed. He looks patient. Maya has served celebrities, executives, judges, and senators. Most demand respect before anyone denies them. Elijah asks for nothing. That makes her study the folder again. The seal is clean. The edges are marked by hand. This is not luggage. This is business. Vivienne walks past the snack counter and sees Elijah again. This time, she notices the folder seal. Skyward Atlantic. Her eyes narrow. Are you traveling for the airline? Elijah keeps his tone even. I am traveling as a passenger. That is not what I asked. It is the answer I am giving. Claire steps between them with forced calm. Vivienne, boarding starts soon. Vivienne's smile returns, colder now. Good. I hope first class has standards. The lounge doors open as the boarding chime sounds. Passengers gather their bags. Elijah places his empty cup in the bin and moves toward the exit. Maya watches the tablet again. Seat 3 billions stays red. The locked icon flashes once, then disappears. Vivienne catches the last flash on Maya's screen. What does that mean? She asks. Maya turns the tablet against her chest. Passenger privacy. Vivienne leans in. Privacy for him? Elijah stops at the doorway, but does not turn around. Maya says nothing. Vivienne lifts her chin and follows him toward the gate, already deciding the flight will teach him his place. She has no idea Maya is watching. The jet bridge feels narrow as Vivienne follows Elijah toward flight 218. Elijah walks ahead without looking back. His worn bag hangs from one shoulder. The black folder stays tucked under his left arm. Vivienne watches him scan his boarding pass again at the aircraft door. Maya stands beside the entrance with a professional smile that does not reach her eyes. "Welcome aboard, Mr. Reed," she says. Elijah gives a small nod. "Thank you, Maya." Vivienne stops behind him. "You know his name already?" Maya keeps her voice steady. "Passenger manifest, ma'am." Vivienne steps into the cabin and looks down the aisle. First class is half full. A man in a navy suit reads a finance magazine. A woman in pearls adjusts her scarf. A little girl in row 4 presses a tablet against her knees. Elijah reaches seat 3 billions and places his worn bag under the seat in front of him. He slides the black folder into the seat pocket, then rests one hand over it. Vivienne stops at 3A. Her eyes move from his boots to the armrest between them. "No," she says. Maya looks up from the aisle. "Is there a problem?" Vivienne does not sit. "There is a problem with your seating judgment." Elijah fastens his seatbelt. That calm action makes the cabin notice him. Vivienne laughs once and points down at his boots. "This man looks like he came from a loading dock." The woman in pearls looks away. The man with the magazine pauses mid-page. The little girl's father lowers his eyes. Maya steps closer. "Ma'am, Mr. Reed is assigned to that seat." "I did not ask what your computer says," Vivienne says. "I asked why he is beside me." Elijah turns his head slightly. "You are free to speak to the crew without insulting me." Vivienne bends toward him. "I said what everyone is thinking. No one agrees. But no one corrects her." That silence lifts her chin higher. Maya glances at the tablet. Seat 3 billion still shows no open details. The red privacy mark returns for 1 second, then vanishes again. She feels the same unease from the lounge, stronger now. Behind her, the lead attendant, Carol, enters from the galley. Carol has worked first class for 20 years. She reads rich anger fast. "What is happening?" Carol asks. Vivienne turns to her like she has found an ally. "I need another seat, or he does." Carol looks at Elijah. "Sir?" Elijah speaks calmly. "I am seated where I belong." Vivienne scoffs. "That is generous." A soft gasp moves through row 2. The man in the navy suit slowly lowers his magazine. His phone sits face down on his lap, camera lens peeking over his thumb. Carol keeps her smile tight. "Ms. Cross, the cabin is full today." Vivienne freezes at her name. "So you know who I am?" "Yes, ma'am." "Then fix it." The words strike harder because they are quiet. A few heads turn. Maya's hand tightens around the tablet. Elijah notices, but does not rescue the room from its discomfort. Carol lowers her voice. "We can discuss options after boarding." Vivienne steps into the aisle instead of sitting. "No, we discuss it now." A boarding passenger stops behind her, blocked with a roller bag. Another passenger bumps into the line. The delay spreads toward the aircraft door. People begin watching from economy, craning their necks past the curtain. Vivienne sees the larger crowd and performs for it. "I paid for first class," she says. "I should not have to sit beside a man who smells like street dust." The sentence lands across the cabin. Maya's mouth opens, then closes. The little girl in row 4 pulls off her headphones. "Daddy, why did she say that?" Her father whispers, "Look down." Elijah turns toward the child, then back to the window. His jaw tightens once. Only once. The man in the navy suit lifts his phone higher. Vivienne notices him. "Record it," she says. Let people see how standards have fallen. Elijah places 2 fingers on the black folder, steadying it as the plane shifts under boarding weight. Maya sees the gold skyward emblem flash from the pocket. Carol leans toward Maya and whispers, "Check his profile again." Maya taps the screen. A new message appears under Elijah's name. Do not relocate without senior authorization. Her face changes. Vivienne catches the change and smiles. Finally, you see it too. Maya looks at Elijah. He meets her eyes for the first time. Follow the policy, he says. Before Maya can answer, Vivienne reaches toward the black folder in the seat pocket. What are you hiding in there? She asks. Elijah's hand closes over the folder before she touches it. The aisle goes still, and Maya stops breathing behind them both. The first-class cabin tightens before the plane even leaves the gate. Vivienne stands in the aisle beside seat 3A, blocking a line of passengers with roller bags and nervous faces. Elijah sits by the window in 3 billions, his seatbelt fastened, his plain jacket smoothed across his lap. The black folder rests under his right hand like a closed door. Maya steps closer with her tablet pressed to her chest. Ms. Cross, please take your seat so we can finish boarding. Vivienne turns slowly. Do not tell me to sit down while you place me beside a man who looks like he came from outside labor. A few passengers look toward Elijah. He does not move. He asks Maya, could I have a bottle of water when you have a moment? The simple request makes Vivienne laugh. Water, that is your concern. Elijah looks at her once. No, my concern is arriving safely. The man in the navy suit across the aisle lowers his magazine. His phone is half hidden against his knee, camera pointed toward Vivienne. He has not said a word, but his eyes stay fixed on her face. Vivienne sees him watching and raises her voice. Good. Let everyone hear me. I refuse to sit beside someone who smells like street dust. The little girl in row 4 grips her father's sleeve. Maya's face tightens. Ma'am, that language is not acceptable. Vivienne steps closer to her. Careful, my company spends more with this airline in 1 quarter than you will earn in years. Carol, the lead attendant, appears at the front galley. Miss Cross, we need the aisle clear. Vivienne points at Elijah without looking at him. Then clear him. A businessman near the window whispers, this is too much. But he turns back to his laptop when Vivienne looks his way. That silence helps her. She straightens her cream jacket, pleased by the way everyone lowers their eyes. Thank you, she says to the cabin, as if their fear proves her right. At least some people understand standards. Elijah accepts the water bottle from Maya. Thank you. His calm voice cuts through the shame more than shouting would. Maya leans closer. Sir, I am sorry. Elijah shakes his head slightly. You did not say it. Vivienne hears him and smiles. How noble. Now stop pretending this is about manners. It is about comfort. Mine. Carol keeps her voice low. We have no open first-class seats. Shh, then downgrade him, Vivienne says. A sharp hush moves through the cabin. Elijah turns his water bottle once in his hand. The seal cracks softly. He drinks, then places it in the cup holder. I will remain in my assigned seat. Vivienne's eyes flash. You think saying that quietly makes you important? No, Elijah says. It makes me seated. The man with the phone almost smiles, but stops himself. He zooms in on Vivienne's face. A name flashes across his lock screen before he swipes it away. Daniel Price. Maya notices the name. Vivienne notices Maya noticing him. Are you recording me? Vivienne asks Daniel. Daniel keeps the phone low. I am a passenger. That was not my question. It was my answer. The cabin shifts. One person coughs. Another turns fully around. The curtain between cabins moves as passengers from behind try to see. Vivienne's cheeks redden, but she chooses pride over caution. Record this too. I will call Skyward's private client office and report every employee who allows this. Maya's fingers freeze on the tablet. Carol steps between Vivienne and Elijah. No one is allowing anything. We are asking you to sit. Vivienne pulls out her phone. Give me your employee numbers. Maya swallows. Carol stays still. Elijah watches the phone, then the passengers, then Daniel. He does not defend himself. He does not beg for fairness. He lets the room hear every word Vivienne chooses. Vivienne dials and puts the call on speaker before anyone stops her. This is Vivienne Cross, first class on flight 218. I need immediate support. Your crew placed me beside an unsuitable passenger and now refuses to correct it. The private client line rings. Maya looks down at her tablet. Elijah's profile flashes red again. VIP, private hold. Under it, a second line appears for 1 second. Senior corporate review attached. Then the screen locks. Maya inhales sharply. Vivienne hears the sound and smiles wider. Now you understand. Daniel's recording light glows red. Elijah places the black folder into the seat pocket and rests his hand over the gold emblem. The call connects. A calm voice says, Ms. Cross, please remain where you are. Senior staff is already aware of the concern. Vivienne's smile freezes. Across the aisle, Daniel lifts the phone higher, and for the first time, Elijah looks directly at him. The private client voice stays calm on the speaker. Ms. Cross, please remain where you are. Senior staff is already aware of the concern. Vivienne grips the phone tighter, then sends someone who understands first-class service. Carol steps beside Elijah, controlled but tense. Sir, she says, there is one seat open in premium economy. It has extra legroom. We can move you there and make this easier for everyone. The cabin waits. Maya looks down. Daniel keeps recording. Elijah places the water bottle in the holder and looks at Carol. I paid for this seat, he says, and I will not reward disrespect by disappearing. The words do not land loud. They land clean. Maya raises her eyes. Something in her face changes. She has seen passengers yell, threaten, and demand. She has not seen many hold their ground without hurting someone back. Vivienne's smile tightens. So now he wants a scene. Elijah turns toward her. No, you created the scene. I am refusing to vanish from it. A murmur moves through row 2. The woman in pearls looks at Vivienne. The little girl in row 4 leans forward. Vivienne notices every eye and hates that they now look at her, not him. Carol keeps her hands folded. Ms. Cross, please sit down. Vivienne points at Elijah. He is being difficult. Daniel speaks from across the aisle. He is sitting. Vivienne cuts her eyes toward him. Do you work for him? Daniel does not lower the phone. No. Then mind your business. This became everyone's business when you shouted it across the cabin. A sharp silence follows. Vivienne looks at Carol. Are you going to allow passengers to harass me now? Maya steps forward. No one is harassing you, ma'am. We are asking you to take your assigned seat. Vivienne stares at Maya like she has crossed a line. You should be careful too. Elijah's hand moves to the black folder. He pulls it from the seat pocket, slow enough for everyone nearby to watch. The gold skyward emblem catches the light. Vivienne sees it and stops speaking. Elijah opens the folder a few inches. The first page slides forward. It shows a printed agenda, a date, and a heading in bold letters. Crosswell Lux Partnership Review. Maya sees the words. Her lips part. Daniel sees them too, and his recording hand steadies. Vivienne leans closer, her voice lower. Where did you get that? Elijah closes the folder before she sees more. From the people who sent it. Her face hardens. That document is confidential. It is. You have no right touching anything connected to my company. Elijah rests the folder on his lap. You do not know what rights I have. Carol looks from the folder to Vivienne. Ms. Cross? Vivienne straightens, trying to take the room back. This man is trying to intimidate me with stolen papers. The lie arrives quick. Maya's tablet buzzes. She glances down. The locked profile under Elijah's name opens for 1 second, then hides again. One line stays visible. Do not challenge credentials in cabin. Maya looks up at Elijah with fear and respect mixing on her face. Vivienne sees the reaction and lashes out. Why are you all staring at him like he matters? Elijah slides the folder back under his hand. Because choices have records. The sentence hits Vivienne harder than anger. The private client voice returns through her phone. Ms. Cross, the captain requests that all passengers take their seats immediately. Vivienne snaps. Tell the captain I refuse until this passenger is removed. Carol's face changes. Refusing crew instruction is serious. Vivienne laughs, but it sounds thinner now. I am Vivienne Cross. I know serious. Daniel tilts the phone toward her. Say that again. Vivienne's eyes flash. Stop recording me. You invited the cabin to record, he says. I accepted. The little girl's father speaks. Ma'am, please sit down. You are scaring my daughter. For the first time, Vivienne looks toward the scared child. The girl hides behind her father's sleeve. Elijah's calm face turns colder. Vivienne sees that change and makes another mistake. Then maybe children should not be seated near adult matters. The father stands halfway. Carol lifts a hand. Sir, please stay seated. Maya moves toward Vivienne. Ma'am, this ends now. Sit down, or I must report non-compliance. Vivienne steps into the aisle, chin high, still believing her name protects her. Report it. Include that your staff sided with him. Elijah opens the folder again, just enough for Maya to see one more line beneath the agenda. Ethics review. Executive conduct. Maya freezes. Vivienne sees her freeze and turns toward the folder. What else is in there? She asks. Elijah closes it with one soft click. Enough, he says, for you to choose your next words carefully. Vivienne stares at the closed folder, like it has insulted her worse than Elijah ever does. Then she lifts her phone and connects to the plane Wi-Fi with shaking fingers. Her diamond bracelet clicks against the screen. Claire, she snaps when the call opens. I need you to contact Skyward's executive relations desk right now. Elijah sits by the window, still holding the folder under one palm. Carol stands in the aisle, her face tight. Ms. Cross, phone calls must end before departure. Vivienne ignores her. Tell them I am being threatened by an unstable passenger in seat 3 billions. Tell them their crew refuses to protect me. Maya's face loses color. Ma'am, he has not threatened you. Vivienne turns on her. You want to keep this job? The cabin hears it. The father in row 4 pulls his daughter closer. The woman in pearls presses a hand to her mouth. Daniel's phone stays raised, its red recording light steady. Claire's voice leaks through the speaker. Vivienne, what happened? Vivienne lowers her tone, but not enough. A man with suspicious documents is sitting beside me, and the crew is siding with him. Start a formal complaint. Use the words safety concern. Elijah's eyes move from the clouds to Daniel, then back to Vivienne. He still says nothing. That silence makes Vivienne bolder. She thinks she has forced him into fear. She thinks every quiet second helps her version. Maya steps closer. Ms. Cross, please do not make a false safety report. Vivienne laughs under her breath. False? He opened a confidential file connected to my company. Elijah speaks without turning. You looked at a page I did not hand you. Because you flashed it at me. I opened my folder on my lap. Vivienne points at Maya. Write that down. He admits he has the file. Maya looks at Carol. Carol gives her a small shake of the head, warning her not to become part of the lie. Vivienne sees the look. No, do not protect each other now. I want a written incident statement before this plane takes off. Carol says, the incident is still active. The incident is him, Vivienne says. Daniel steps slightly into the aisle. The recording shows otherwise. Vivienne's head snaps toward him. Save your little video. My lawyers will enjoy asking why you harassed a woman on a private client flight. Daniel taps his screen once. The clip saves to his cloud folder. I already saved it, he says. For 1 second, Vivienne's confidence slips. Then, pride returns. She opens a message thread labeled, Board Office. Her thumbs move fast. Unqualified passenger disrupted flight 218. Crew failed to act. Reviewing Skyward partnership risks. She hits send. Elijah sees the words because her screen tilts toward him. He does not stop her. He does not warn her. He lets the message leave. Maya sees it too. Her eyes fill, not with tears, but with fear. Ma'am, please do not involve my name in that. Vivienne smiles at her. Then give me a statement that says he made you uncomfortable. Maya shakes her head once. He did not. Vivienne leans closer. Then I will make sure they ask why you refuse to help a premium client. Carol steps between them. That is enough. Vivienne lifts her phone again. Claire, add crew misconduct. Elijah finally turns his full face toward Vivienne. His voice stays low. You are building a record. Vivienne smiles. Yes, against you. No, Elijah says. With your own hands. The words settle over first class. Maya looks at the tablet again. Elijah's profile flashes red, then opens one hidden line. Corporate ethics review in progress. Her thumb trembles above the screen. She does not know who Elijah is, but she now knows the airline knows more than Vivienne thinks. The private client phone near the galley rings. Carol answers it, listens, and looks toward Elijah. Her face changes, but she says nothing aloud. She covers the receiver with her hand. Maya, bring me the incident log. Vivienne smiles like she has won. Finally. Maya walks to the galley, shoulders tight. Daniel turns his phone toward himself and whispers, recording saved, second clip starting. Elijah hears him. He gives one small nod. Vivienne sees the nod and stiffens. Do you two know each other? Daniel says nothing. Elijah turns back to the window. Carol returns with the incident log, but instead of handing it to Vivienne, she places it on the jump seat beside the cabin phone. Vivienne's smile fades again. Why is he still sitting there? She demands. Carol looks at Elijah, then at the sealed folder. Because, she says carefully, we have been instructed not to move him. Every passenger near first class hears it, and Vivienne's phone buzzes with a new board message. Vivienne's phone buzzes. She looks down and sees a board message from Claire. Who is the passenger in 3 billions? Vivienne's mouth tightens. She turns the screen away from Elijah and types fast. Nobody relevant. Handle skyward. I will land with a report. Elijah sees only her fingers moving. He does not need the words. Her confidence has the same shape as every person who believes status can rewrite a room. Maya returns from the galley with the incident log and places it beside Carol. Her hands are steady, but her eyes keep pulling toward the tablet. The locked profile under seat 3 billions flashes again. Private corporate security hold. She taps once. A warning opens. Do not discuss passenger status. Do not relocate. Report misconduct directly to senior operations. Maya's throat tightens. She looks at Elijah. He sits quietly, one hand on the black folder, the other around the water bottle. He does not look like a man trapped beside an insult. He looks like a man waiting for time to finish speaking. Daniel leans across the aisle. Maya, he says low. She glances at him. Sir, please stay seated. I will, he says. But you need to know, this is not new. Maya's eyes shift toward Vivienne. Vivienne is now ordering champagne, as if nothing has happened. Daniel lowers his phone. My name is Daniel Price. I used to work for Crosswell Lux. Maya freezes. Carol hears the name but keeps her face forward. Daniel continues softly. She pushed out 3 department heads in 6 months. 2 assistants signed settlements. 1 vendor lost a contract after reporting her conduct. Maya whispers, Why are you telling me? Because she is going to make you the next problem. Vivienne lifts her glass before Carol pours. Still waiting on that complaint form. Carol does not move fast enough for her. Vivienne snaps her fingers. Today! The little girl in row 4 flinches. Her father looks at Daniel, then at Maya, then at Elijah. He sees the way the adults keep swallowing words. He decides he has swallowed enough. She threatened your job, he says to Maya. Vivienne turns slowly. Excuse me? The father sits taller. We all heard it. His daughter grips his sleeve, but he does not look away. A quiet shift moves through first class. 1 witness becomes 2. Vivienne sets the champagne glass down before it reaches her lips. I would advise you not to involve yourself. Daniel speaks next. Too late. He taps his phone and saves the second clip. Then he opens a secure email folder. Maya sees subject lines over his shoulder. Crosswell HR complaint. Vendor retaliation. Executive conduct review. Vivienne sees Maya looking and stands. What is he showing you? Daniel turns the phone screen inward. Records. Vivienne laughs once. Stolen gossip. Elijah finally looks at Daniel. Do not share documents in the cabin. Daniel nods. Understood. Maya catches that. Elijah does not sound surprised by the records. He sounds like he knows how evidence must be handled. Her tablet buzzes. A new service note appears. Flight 218, preserve incident log. Passenger statements may be requested at arrival. Maya's stomach drops. This is no longer a rude passenger complaint. Someone above the crew is watching the record form in real time. Vivienne sits back, trying to look bored. You people love drama. Elijah opens the black folder just enough to remove a single white card. He keeps the folder angled away from Vivienne and slides the card into his inside pocket. His phone vibrates at the same time. He reads one message. Board packet ready. Pattern file confirmed. His face does not change. Vivienne watches him read. More secret papers? Elijah locks the screen. More patience. She scoffs. Patience will not help you when we land. Maya looks at Carol. Carol writes the exact sentence in the incident log. Daniel sees it and gives a small nod. Vivienne misses the nod because she is typing again. Crew biased. Passenger aggressive. Possible document breach. Request board delay until I speak. She sends it. Seconds later, Elijah's phone lights again. He does not open the message fully. Only the preview shows. Delay denied. He turns the screen down. Maya sees the two words and feels her breath catch. Daniel slides his saved video into a cloud folder labeled Flight 218. Then he adds one note beneath it. Vivienne Cross, first class cabin, full audio. Vivienne reaches for her champagne at last and drinks like she has regained control. Elijah closes his eyes for 1 second, not from fear, but from restraint. Then the cabin phone rings. Carol answers. Her face goes still. Yes, she says. I understand. She hangs up and turns toward Maya. When we land, Carol says quietly, Senior Operations wants every witness kept at the gate. The wheels hit the runway in New York with a hard jolt, and first class goes silent. Vivienne unbuckles before the seatbelt sign turns off. I want airport security at the gate, she says, already holding her phone. And I want that man detained. Elijah remains seated by the window. His black folder rests flat on his lap. He watches the city lights slide past the glass as the plane slows. Carol steps into the aisle. Miss Cross, please remain seated until the sign turns off. Vivienne laughs under her breath. You should worry less about my seatbelt and more about your employment record. Maya stands behind Carol with the incident log against her chest. The pages inside are full now. Timestamps, direct quotes, passenger names, crew notes. Every line makes her hands feel heavier. Daniel looks across the aisle at Elijah. Do you want me to send the videos now? Elijah answers without looking away from the window. Not in the cabin. Vivienne hears enough to smile. Good. He knows it is evidence against him. Daniel's jaw tightens. That is not what he said. The plane reaches the gate. The seatbelt sign clicks off. Vivienne stands first, blocking the aisle with her designer bag. Other passengers remain seated, watching her like no one wants to miss the next word. She points at Elijah. He does not leave before security arrives. Elijah rises slowly. He places the folder inside his worn leather bag and slides the strap over one shoulder. Maya opens the aircraft door. Cold terminal air moves into the cabin. Two airport security officers wait just beyond the jet bridge. Beside them stands a skyward supervisor holding a tablet. Vivienne sees the uniforms and lifts her chin. Finally, she steps out fast, forcing everyone behind her to stop. I am Vivienne Cross. I reported the disturbance on this flight. The supervisor nods. Yes, ma'am. We were advised. Vivienne turns and points through the aircraft door. That passenger harassed me, displayed confidential documents, and made this crew unsafe. Maya steps out behind her. Her face looks pale, but she stays beside Carol. The supervisor looks at Maya. Is that your report? Maya opens her mouth. Vivienne cuts in. She is nervous because he intimidated her too. Carol's eyes sharpen. Ms. Cross, do not speak for my crew. A few passengers gather at the jet bridge entrance. Daniel stands behind Elijah, phone in hand. The father from row 4 carries his daughter's backpack and stays near Maya. Vivienne sees the crowd and raises her voice. Good. Let everyone hear. First class is no longer safe when airlines allow people like him to threaten premium clients. The words echo against the jet bridge walls. Elijah steps onto the jet bridge last. He stands calm, not close to her, not hiding either. His eyes move once to Maya, then to Daniel, then to the supervisor. The supervisor checks the tablet. Mr. Reed, please stay with us for a moment. Vivienne smiles. You see? Elijah nods. Of course. Daniel frowns at the supervisor. You need my recording. The supervisor says, please keep it ready. Vivienne's smile weakens at the word ready. Security moves one step closer, but not toward Elijah. They stand between the passengers and the terminal, holding the space. More first-class passengers step out and stop near the wall. Phones rise quietly. Maya clutches the incident log. Vivienne notices and reaches toward it. Give me that. Maya pulls it back. No. The single word lands harder than a shout. Vivienne stares at her. Do you understand who you are defying? Maya's voice shakes once. I understand what I heard. The father from row 4 speaks. We heard it too. The little girl hides behind him, but peeks at Elijah. The man was nice, she whispers. Vivienne's face burns. This is absurd. Footsteps sound from the terminal entrance. A tall black woman in a Navy skyward executive suit enters with 2 staff members behind her. The supervisor straightens at once. Vivienne turns toward the woman and smiles like rescue has arrived. Finally, I need this handled at your highest level. The executive looks at Vivienne for 1 second, then walks past her. Vivienne's smile freezes. The executive stops in front of Elijah and extends her hand. Mr. Reed, she says, thank you for your patience. The jet bridge falls quiet. Vivienne looks from the executive's hand to Elijah's face. You know him? Elijah shakes the executive's hand. Ms. Vale. Maya's grip tightens around the incident log. Daniel lifts his phone higher. Carol steps aside as if a door has opened that Vivienne never noticed. The executive turns toward Vivienne. Ms. Cross, she says, before you say another word, you should know this meeting began before the aircraft landed. Ms. Vale's words strike the jet bridge harder than the landing. Vivienne looks past her, searching for the supervisor, then security, then anyone who still treats her like the most important person in the space. No one steps forward. What meeting? She asks. Ms. Vale keeps her eyes on Elijah. Mr. Reed, the board is waiting for your final recommendation. The sentence freezes every passenger near the gate. Maya stops breathing. Daniel's phone stays raised. Carol lowers her incident log by 1 inch. The father from row 4 pulls his daughter behind him, but even he keeps watching. Vivienne blinks. Final recommendation for what? Elijah opens his worn leather bag and removes the black folder. The gold skyward emblem catches the terminal light. This time, he does not hide it. For the Skyward Atlantic Partnership Review, Ms. Vale says. Crosswell Lux is under conduct and ethics review before any contract extension. Vivienne's face drains. No, she says. That review is handled by Reed Meridian. Elijah looks at her. Yes. Daniel whispers, oh my God. Vivienne turns toward him. What? Ms. Vale answers before Daniel does. Elijah Reed is chairman of Reed Meridian's private review board. The jet bridge goes silent enough for the gate scanners to beep behind them. Maya looks at Elijah like the locked profile has finally opened in front of her. Vivienne takes 1 step back, then catches herself. Pride lifts her chin, but fear reaches her eyes first. You should have identified yourself, she says. Elijah's voice stays quiet. You should have treated me like a person before you knew my title. The words hit harder than the reveal. Daniel steps forward. I recorded the cabin incident from the first insult. Vivienne turns on him. You edited it. I saved it in 2 clips with full audio, Daniel says. I also sent the timestamp to myself before landing. Ms. Vale looks at him. Name? Daniel Price, he says. Former Crosswell Lux operations director. Vivienne stiffens. He was dismissed. Daniel keeps his eyes on Ms. Vale. After I reported vendor intimidation and staff retaliation. Maya finally speaks. Her voice shakes, but she does not stop. Ms. Cross tried to make me write that Mr. Reed threatened her. He did not. She threatened my job when I refused. Carol steps beside Maya. I heard the same. The father from row 4 raises his hand slightly. So did I. My daughter heard it too. Vivienne looks around, trapped by the witnesses she thought were decoration. Phones face her now. Nobody lowers their eyes. Elijah opens the folder. The first page is the Crosswell-Lux Partnership Review. Beneath it sits a list of staff complaints, vendor emails, settlement summaries, and a printed ethics clause from Skyward's contract policy. Vivienne reaches for the folder. Those are private. Elijah closes his hand over the pages before she touches them. Do not make another mistake. Security moves closer, this time toward Vivienne. Her hand drops. Miss Vale takes the top page Elijah offers her. She reads one line, then looks at Vivienne. This clause allows Skyward to suspend negotiations if executive conduct creates public risk. Vivienne forces a laugh. Public risk? One passenger got dramatic. Daniel lifts his phone higher. The passenger stayed calm. You called him dirty. You called him unqualified. You accused him of a threat that never happened. Maya adds, and you asked me to help make it official. Vivienne's mouth opens, but no answer comes out. Elijah turns one page. The board packet was ready before the flight. The only question was whether your conduct pattern was still active. His eyes lift to hers. Today answered that. The public shame Vivienne tried to place on Elijah returns to her in full view. The gate agents stop scanning. Passengers from the rear cabin gather near the entrance. Even the security officers watch without speaking. Ms. Vale closes the page. Ms. Cross, your board has been notified. Skyward is pausing all partnership decisions pending emergency review. Vivienne shakes her head. You do not have that authority because of him. Elijah slides the folder back into his bag. Not because of me, because of you. Daniel saves the final recording. Maya wipes one tear before it falls. Carol places the incident log into Ms. Vale's hands. Maya watches Vivienne's face change and realizes the record no longer protects power. It protects the people power tried to crush in silence today. The gate waits, but no answer comes. Vivienne's phone buzzes again. Claire's message fills the screen. Board wants you on emergency video now. Vivienne stares at it, then at Elijah. For the first time since the lounge, she has no command ready. Ms. Vale turns toward security. Escort Ms. Cross to the private conference room, she says. The board is waiting. 24 hours later, Vivienne Cross sits alone at the head of a glass boardroom table in New York. No assistant stands behind her. No champagne waits near her hand. No one rushes to pull out her chair. On the wall screen, Elijah Reed appears from a quiet conference room at Skyward Atlantic. Ms. Vale sits beside him. Daniel Price appears in a second window. Maya appears in uniform, hands folded, eyes tired but steady. Vivienne forces a smile. This meeting is excessive. The board chair, an older woman named Helen Park, looks down at the incident file. You sent us a false report from Flight 218. Vivienne's smile thins. I reported what I experienced. Helen taps the screen. Daniel's video begins. Vivienne's own voice fills the boardroom. I refuse to sit beside someone who smells like street dust. No one moves. The clip continues. Her threats to Maya play next. Then her claim that Elijah threatens her. Then her message about an unqualified passenger. Every sentence returns with a timestamp. Vivienne reaches for her water, but her hand trembles. Ellen closes the video. Skyward has canceled the partnership review. Vivienne sits forward. They cannot do that. Ms. Vale speaks from the screen. We already have. The room turns colder. Helen opens a second file. The board has also reviewed the pattern packet Reed Meridian delivered this morning. Vivienne's face tightens. That packet is biased. Daniel leans toward his camera. It includes emails from 6 former employees, 3 vendor statements, 2 signed settlements, and the video from yesterday. Vivienne looks at Elijah. You planned this. Elijah does not raise his voice. You chose every word in that cabin. Helen places her pen down. Effective immediately, Vivienne Cross is removed as Chief Executive Officer of Crosswell Lux pending full investigation. Vivienne stands so fast her chair scrapes the floor. You will destroy the company without me. Helen answers, you already damaged it. The vote passes in silence. Vivienne leaves the boardroom with one white box. Her nameplate rests inside it, wrapped in tissue paper. Outside the glass walls, employees stop typing. Some look away. Others watch without fear for the first time in years. Claire meets her near the elevator. Vivienne expects loyalty. Claire holds out a badge. The board asked me to collect your access card. Vivienne stares at her. You too? Claire's voice stays soft. I watched too much. The elevator doors close on Vivienne before she finds another threat. Across town, Daniel signs a formal statement for Crosswell investigators. His video helps reopen old complaints. Former employees receive calls they stopped expecting. One woman cries when she hears her case will be reviewed again. A vendor who lost a contract sends 3 emails, each with attached proof. At Skyward Atlantic, Maya stands in a small crew office while Carol and Ms. Vale face her. Maya grips her cap. I thought I might lose my job. Ms. Vale places a letter on the desk. You protected the record under pressure. That matters here. Maya reads the first line. Formal commendation. Her shoulders drop, and the tears come this time. Carol pulls her into a brief hug. Maya laughs through the tears, then wipes her face. I only told the truth. Carol says, that is why it mattered. By evening, Elijah is back in Oakland. The clinic doors open before he reaches them. Lena stands inside with 2 volunteers and a stack of supply forms. You made the news, she says. Elijah pauses. I hope the clinic did not. Lena smiles. Only the part where people ask who funds it. A boy from the waiting room runs up with a paper airplane in his hand. Mr. Reed, did you fly on a big plane? Elijah kneels. Yes. Were people nice? Elijah looks at the paper airplane, then at the crowded clinic behind him. Some were brave. The boy accepts that answer and runs back inside. Elijah walks through the clinic halls. The mobile care boxes are ready for another route. Volunteers greet him with quiet respect, not because of his title, but because they know what his work keeps alive. The next morning, Elijah boards another skyward flight. This time, Maya stands at the door. Welcome aboard, Mr. Reed, she says. Elijah smiles. Good to see you standing tall. First class is quiet as he reaches seat 3 billions again. A businessman moves his bag from the aisle before Elijah asks. A woman near the window gives him a respectful nod. No one needs to know the full story to feel the change. Elijah sits, places the black folder under his hand, and looks out at the runway. The plane begins to move. This time, silence does not shame him. It honors him. And this time, no one looks away again.